The Guardian decided to set up an investigations unit to investigate their own history and have now decided that they've got all these links to slavery, so now they're going to give 10 million quid away by way of sort of reparations to parts of America. And you're going, sorry? What's going on?
Here's the thing, Mike. What's happened is the old elite used to derive their status, their sense of esteem from their wealth, from their ability to take holidays, from fashion. The new elite derive their status by being countercultural, by basically critiquing, if not repudiating, national institutions, national culture and traditions, whether it's the royal family, whether it's British identity, whatever it is. Daniel Bell, my academic hero, first noted this in the 1970s. He said, the issue with the elite, as it passed through the universities, moved into these institutions, is that it was becoming openly countercultural. So, you know, there's also, again, a hypocrisy here. You're allowed to critique the identity and the history and the culture of the majority group in your own country, but you're not allowed to do that for any other group around the world or any minority group. So there's a very imbalanced approach that sort of drives this reaction within this new this governing class. And Mike, unless we can get away from this divisive identity politics, which is another thing I call out in the book, and say we've got to get back to unifying stories about who we are. We can't just keep telling kids that they're only defined by their race or their gender, and we can't keep putting people into these segregated silos based on their group identities. We've got to get back to what we have in common, not what's pushing us apart, because if we don't, Mike, we're going to have a big problem.
Well, I think that's right. I watched you last night on Piers Morgan's show, and you were sitting between two other guests who were both absolutely convinced that you were the devil incarnate, one of whom was Ava Santina, and basically talking about how you're not allowed to use a meme if it's a meme of somebody who happens to be black. And, you know, I mean, Piers was on your side as well, but we have sort of gone into this weird rabbit hole where there's only two ways to go, apparently, and you have to pick it at the beginning and you have to come out the other end. You know, you can't have your mind changed for you. That wouldn't work at all. You have to firmly believe something and everybody else is wrong.
I think if you look at the last 100 years or so, basically we've transitioned from a culture that was about dignity, was about honour, was about bravery, into a culture that's now overwhelmingly about victimhood. That's the key shift that's happened. So if you can define yourself as a victim, if you can define yourself as somebody who is an ally of victims, again, perpetuating these narratives, then you are a high-status individual, Mike. If you align yourself with this radical woke ideology, as far as the elite are concerned, you're a high-status individual. If you know all the language, white guilt, white privilege, heteronormative, cisgender, if you can demonstrate to your fellow elites that you're part of this new religion, because I do genuinely believe it's a new religion, then you're going to be a high-status individual. But what if you're white working class? What if you're culturally conservative? What if you haven't gone to university? What if you're an apprentice? What if you've gone into a technical college? What if you live on the coast away from the big cities? What if you're looking at this country saying, actually, I'm not sure we should continue to have hyper-globalization or mass immigration? What if you basically hold a set of values, Mike, that put you on the wrong side of the prevailing culture? And I think that is basically where lots of people today find themselves. They're looking at the institutions and they're saying, you know, it's not only that I'm not in those institutions, it's not only that my values aren't in those institutions, it's also that they're now looking down on me as white working class, ignorant gammons and Karens and the rest of it. And this is what I'm worried about, Mike. This is what caused Trump, right? This is what caused Trump. This is what's driving populism across Europe. This is what's also, by the way, leading lots of people, which I suspect will happen at the next general election, to give up on politics altogether.